All right, and now for some Gamergate news. I know we call them literally who's for a reason. We don't want to give them too much attention. They aren't central to what Gamergate is about. But this letter deserves special attention because of how transparently false it actually is. So, Brianna Wu allegedly received a letter from a Gamergater who has converted, specifically because of Brianna Wu herself. So, without further ado, let's get into this letter from a former Gamergater. So, she prefaces that with, I got this letter yesterday from a former Gamergater. It's honest, genuine, and shows his own personal growth. It's been lightly edited for clarity and anonymity. Which, clarity and anonymity. Right. Brianna, just wanted to say that I have finally broken, and it's thanks to you, or rather the treatment you have received since day one. Well, that's oddly specific. Why hasn't this also focused on any other, alleged harassed females in gaming, such as Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn? If someone really was, going to convert, quote unquote, uh, from being a Gamergate supporter to being anti-Gamergate and citing the treatment and harassment that Brianna Wu, Zoe Quinn, and Anita Sarkeesian have allegedly received from a whole bunch of Gamergaters, wouldn't they quote all of them rather than just one? That is suspicious, but nothing too indicative. I tried to tell myself that it was all about the Gamers Are Dead articles and the forums, and for me, it was, always. Well, that's a weird way to write that. I think more naturally it would be, and for me it always was. But I digress. And Gamergate, the term itself, obviously coined by Adam Baldwin a day after the Gamers Are Dead articles, was about the censorship we received, and the Gamers Are Dead articles, and the general lack of integrity in gaming journalism. As everybody knows, there may be rogue elements out there who have other reasons for joining. There may even be some who genuinely joined because, oh, we're up against a woman game dev. The people who like that, who are legitimately misogynistic, they're an extremist minority. And we police our own. We do it a lot. The Gamergate Harassment Patrol on Twitter is a thing. I don't even go online to games, so never even engage with people there. But I was blind, some would say willfully ignorant about it all. I told myself over and over the abuse being received by women such as yourself was not real and put it out of my mind, as I suspect many others have. We don't put it out of our mind. We look at the abuse that they're receiving and find it to be the same sort of trolling abuse we've seen on internet culture for years. None of the threats they have received are credible. None. And no person actually going through the trouble of hurting another person is going to give them a forewarning on Twitter or over the email unless they're supremely psychotic. No person who wants to kill another person is going to send them a letter saying, "Ha ha, I'm coming to get ya." You don't put a target in mourning. I mean, that's simple. That's simple fighting tactics. That's simple war tactics. You don't let the enemy know you're coming. I distanced myself from any abuse I did see and wrote them off as fakes, but it's true. Oh God, the syntax here is horrid. But it isn't true, is it? There's no comma. There needs to be a comma after true, otherwise that entire syntax doesn't even make sense. Yes, I'm nitpicking. Call me a grammar, syntax Nazi, whatever you want. I am nitpicking. It just makes the sentence flow odd and stilted. And we don't distance ourselves from any abuse in the way that they're implying. We point out to everybody else, holy shit, these people are doing stuff in our name. Fucking Get on them. Report that shit. Report that shit on Twitter. Report that shit on Facebook. Report that shit. That's not us. We do not support harassment against any person. Ourselves, other people, etc. It's more than the majority. Wrong. We've shown metrics time and again that the negative comments and positive comments to just the Twitter hashtag are both very minority, and most comments about Gamergate are exceedingly neutral. I was wrong all along. I never abused or engaged you or others. I signal boosted, supported campaigns, trying to stay away from the ignorance. And that's what most of us do. Most of us go ahead and pass along the message. We retweet. We pass along the news. We pass along the changes. We update the boycott of the day. We email the advertisers and consistently point out the abuse to these people. Whenever a confident woman comes along to have her say in any way, oh God, that's more horrible syntax, more horrible sentence flow. Whenever I can't even speak straight because of this. Whenever a confident woman comes along to have her say in any way, she is shouted down and harassed by men like me. Wrong! I can think of a few who haven't been shouted down and harassed by men, although they have been shouted down and harassed by anti-Gamergate proponents. What about, what was her name? Jennifer Daw? I think it's Jennifer Daw. I'll have to check that here. But yeah, Jennifer Daw made a game called, I think it was Seedcraft, or Seed World, or let me check Steam. Let me check Steam. Something that got greenlit. Greenlight. And you know, she's been, they've straight up said, you know, try to get Steam to take it down even though it's already been greenlit, or she supports Gamergate, so she's a horrible person. Everybody's allowed to have Seedscape. Yeah, okay. Seedscape is the name of the game. And everybody's allowed to have their opinions and views and make their own choices based on evidence presented to them. I mean, I don't even begrudge people like Brianna Wu their view. What I begrudge is the fact that they are trying to force their view on literally everyone else. It's like, if the games don't cater to me, then they shouldn't exist. And that's wrong. Make your own games, which you do, and they're, as indicated by the title art, the cover art here, really bad. Really bad. Revolution 60 is horrible, or whatever the fuck that thing's name is. I can't remember. So, harassed by men like me, men who have it so easy. We are blind to the faults of society and its focus on men. Blind to the faults of society and its focus on men. The market economy might have a focus on men in gaming simply because we buy the most games. But society itself? No. Society doesn't focus on one gender or the other broadly, though certain sections do focus on women a lot more than men, just like the justice system. At least in the US. We don't like to be challenged, but we should get used to it because I have some news from you. You are winning. Oh, excuse me. Freudian slip there. Not news from you, news for you. You are winning. I don't see how they're winning. Do you guys see how they're winning? I mean, if you guys can post some articles which show concrete proof they're winning rather than just saying, we're winning, you're losing, na 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 na, I'll take those into account and review them as well, review the scientific evidence. But from every indication I've seen, all the advertising we get pulled down, that we see removed, all the ethics policies that have been changed at places like The Escapist and even Kotaku. I'm pretty sure that Gamergate is a lot more effective than these people. You are winning, and these are the death throes of a petulant, selfish culture. When they said gamers were dead, I didn't want to believe it, but in its way, it's true. Ultimately, games are for everyone, and as more women are involved, the culture around video games... That's horrible typing. I'm going to edit that right now. Ultimately, games are for everyone, and as more women are involved in the culture around video games, it will change for the better. If some obnoxious boys end up leaving, then so be it. I won't, because I will accept the changes. This isn't an insular culture. Gaming is the most inclusive culture I can think of. As I pointed out in a previous video, games, the video games themselves, don't give a fuck whether you're man or woman, black or white, straight or gay, you know, this, that, and the other. They only care whether you can play or not. And most gamers are the same way. They don't give a fuck whether you're a man or woman, black or white, straight or gay. They just want to see if you can play the fucking game. And if you can, good for you. If you can't, you get the normal get good, faggot. And that's internet culture again. Get good, faggot is a thing that we say to everybody who isn't so good. And the only way you get good at a game is to play it and practice. So if a person does badly at a game, and they happen to be female, and somebody says, get good, and that female goes, you're just telling me that because I'm a female. No, we're telling you that because you don't practice and you're not fucking good at the game. We'd say the same thing to a man. We'd say the same thing to a transsexual who's post-op. We'd say the same thing to gays and straights and bisexual people. We'd say the same thing to white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people. We would say the same to any fucking person. If you're bad at the game and you want to play it with the rest of us and you want to be a good support for your team, fucking get good. Get good. I mean, hell, the reason I don't play League of Legends, I'm not very interested in MOBAs. If I did start playing League of Legends, I can damn well expect people to say, holy shit, you play like fuck. Because I've never played League of Legends. And I'd be bad at it. So I'd have to get good. If I were a woman, it'd be the same fucking way. There are no changes to accept because we are the most diverse group of hobbyists I've ever fucking seen. I would say more female protagonists is desirable, but it would benefit these males to have a majority even. No. No, it wouldn't. If the majority of protagonists were female, unless they were well written and marketed properly, those games would fail. Market economy rules. And then they'd blame it on misogyny. You don't like women. You must hate women. Fucking misogyny. That's what they'll say. They have no idea what it's like to be a woman, and neither do I, but more empathy would follow. Well, neither do you, Brianna Wu. Shall we get into the fact that you're probably, I mean, the likelihood is very high that you are actually a post-operative transsexual whose birth name is John Flint. You have no idea what it is to be a woman. You don't have a fucking uterus. You don't have the fucking hormone cocktail that women have. You have the hormone cocktail men have. You can't have a menstruation. So, Brianna Wu, shall we get into that? You have no idea what it's like to be a woman either. So if this person writing you a letter doesn't have that idea, and I highly suspect that this letter is actually just written by you, then yeah. And more empathy would follow how? How does that connect? How does that connect? What are these weasel words I'm seeing here? It's so vague to be meaningless, but it seems powerful and like something is being done. As would games with an abundance of strong non-sexual women saving the day. Well, again, no. There are games with strong non-sexualized women who are the protagonists. I mean, look at any female shepherd you can create in Mass Effect. The only time female shepherd is sexualized is in the missions in which she needs to be sexualized. I mean, thinking Mass Effect 2, the Kasumi's loyalty mission, you have to go in that nice evening dress. But it's because you're going to a party. Otherwise, Commander Shepard is put in armor. And yes, it has a boob plate, and yes, I realize that isn't very realistic. But it's still, other than that boob plate, it still plays down her femininity to almost nothing. She's a soldier, or any other class, but ultimately, she's a member of a military, and she kicks a lot of fucking ass. But she's also well written. So, an abundance of strong non-sexual women would inundate the market. It would make people tired of it. I mean, it's the same thing that happened to Capcom when they were throwing in fighters once a goddamn 6-month period. They inundated the market and they just weren't seeing the sales. It would at least stop them from thinking they are the center of the universe, which is what the average gamer-gator thinks. First of all, we're not gamer-gators, we're Gamergate supporters. Secondly, I don't think a single one of us, well, no, let me rephrase that. I think a very, very small majority of extremists, yet again, think that they're the center of the universe as part of Gamergate. But the majority of us realize we're all a bunch of individuals who are pissed off at this turn of events, of people outright saying that we're toxic, and that we're misogynists, and that we're sexist, and that we don't have any empathy or sympathy, and that we aren't inclusive, and that we're fucking dead. We're a bunch of individuals who all decided to turn at once, millions of us, and go, fuck you guys, we're here, and we pay your fucking paychecks. We are the ones who make your money. We consume the product. We can just as easily stop, and you will have nothing. Your power is literally, pardon me, literally zero. We aren't the center of the universe. None of us are. But we're part of a large group of people who support each other. I am so sorry about the way you have been treated. You are a beautiful... I don't think anybody could call Brianna Wu classically beautiful. Talented. Again, look at Revolution 60. Intelligent woman. Intelligent enough to ride the bandwagon of victimhood and make money off of it, I suppose. As for woman, well, again, post-op transsexual. Who's worth 1 million of those people involved in Gamergate, myself included? Well, I'm certain she's worth 1 million of you because I'm pretty certain you don't exist. So 1 million times 0 is still 0. I am no longer involved in it, in fact. I may just work against it. Okay. I know, though it is time for me to stand down from my pedestal and listen to women, to let them steer culture and not resist the betterment and balance they will bring. There's a comma missing. It's I know, though, that it is time for me. Yeah. I know, comma, though, comma, that. Forgot something there, Brianna. And no one voice should steer the culture. It's the culture that should steer the culture. Gamers, as the hobbyists, should steer the culture by speaking with their wallet. So, fuck that sentiment. I said before, you are winning. This is the long game. And as the media continues to side with the good guys, these people will simply end up bickering, as they do, among themselves with less and less influence. Okay, bickering in a group that's been together for 3 months or longer is expected, but we're still all doing what we have to do. Emailing advertisers, making videos like these, pointing out that this is all bullshit. You know, we aren't stopping anytime soon. Anytime soon. They will fade out, leave, or change. People are getting more and more despondent, and it's your magnificent strength in the face of the abuse which does it. They can't fathom it, you and the others. You have outfoxed everyone. Pac-Man, the harassers, everyone. David Pac-Man interviewed Brianna Wu, and I would have to say that Brianna Wu outfoxed herself. And then accused Pac-Man of harassing her. Go watch the Pac-Man interview of Brianna Wu and ask me if it was a quote-unquote hit piece. And we can fathom their magnificent deception, which is their only strength. We see right the fuck through it, which is why we continue to fight. To beat Gamergate, as a former insider, remain defiant but aloof. Nope, that's just going to make us continue to fight you. We want a dialogue. Come down and talk with us. You are better than these people, remember that. And that attitude is just going to piss us off more. You're another person just like the rest of us. We all have ideas. If you discuss things with us, maybe, just maybe, you'll see that what we're saying is not that the gamer culture is for men only, but that we don't need it to change. If you want to change something in gamer culture, add to it. Don't subtract from it. Don't let them get to you. Remember, there is no balance here, so don't engage them as an equal and don't let others do so. Remember, there is no balance here. We're right. So we stick our fingers in our ears when they try to talk to us, going la 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 la, and we only talk to each other. Insular echo chamber. Who's the more discriminatory and insulated of these two groups? You decide. Laugh off petty insults if you can, but never show them you are hurt. They're getting off on that. What? I don't think any of us give a shit whether she's hurt by the insults of trolls and extremists. What we give a shit about is that the trolls and extremists exist and that we're trying to stop them in the first place. It only encourages them. Well, yes, don't feed the troll is a thing. By responding, you're encouraging the trolls. I'm sorry for the length, but why would you be sorry for the length of your letter, you dipshit? But I just wanted to let you know there are people out there who you will ultimately beat and win over with your sheer integrity. Yes, those people being the ones you see in the mirror every morning. You beat me, and I'm so glad. Internal masochist, anybody? I am leaving Gamergate, so I will remain anonymous as I fear these people getting to me somehow. But if you wish to talk further, please do so. Right. Because none of us will care that you've changed sides. You're allowed your opinion. Again, this is why more than anything, why I believe that this was written by her to her. I will listen and would appreciate any advice on going further to become the person I should have been, as I'm quite ashamed of supporting what was an ugly, chaotic mess. Should have been. Person you should have been. The person you should have been is the person you feel like being, so long as you are not harming yourself or others. I've rejected feminism from its very starting point. Don't see what that has to do with Gamergate. It's irrelevant to the point at hand. And I've done nothing but stand in the way of people. If I can help, let me know. Like I say, a confident, beautiful, intelligent woman worth 1 million of one Gamergater. Well, earlier you said yourself included, and since I'm pretty sure you don't exist, yeah, 1 million times 0 is still 0. Confident? Probably that her con is working. So yeah, I'd say she's confident in her confidence ploys. Beautiful? Like I said, I don't think any person can call Brianna Wu classically beautiful. Intelligent enough to hitch her star to a bandwagon, yeah. Woman? No. The evidence is too high to suggest that she's post-op transsexual, meaning that she's still biologically male. Thanks. Name withheld. All right. So, this sounds like a self-aggrandizing letter. Something that she used to make it look like she was winning the battle. Oh my god, we really can change their minds. And I'm sure that there are people in Gamergate who have had their minds changed simply due to misinformation. It's not a small probability. It's actually a very large probability. People have their minds changed all the time. Misinformation being the main way that it's done on the anti-Gamergate side by twisting things, posting out of context, cherry picking, etc., etc. Ultimately, though, this letter shows desperation. Brianna Wu, I mean, from the stuff with her dog a few days ago to now, and even before then, she has struggled consistently to remain relevant, just as Zoe Quinn does. Anita Sarkeesian doesn't actually have to struggle because she can continue posting her videos and continue posting, the vitriol she gets on Twitter all the time because she's already got a huge following. And she'll be fine. She can continue her professional victim thing until she's exposed for the fraud that she is. But Quinn and Wu have struggled to remain relevant forever. They continue to struggle, which is why Zoe Quinn writes more articles for places like The Guardian, and Brianna Wu makes the I have no problem saying that this is fake. You know, this person, if they actually exist, if this person exists, get in contact with me. If you wrote this fucking letter, for sure, you know, show me the email headers so I can see that you actually sent this to Brianna Wu, and I'll believe that you exist. And then I'll refute your claim that she's worth a million of any of us, because she's not. This letter, as poorly goddamn optimized as it is, God, some of those syntax and sentence flow errors just fucking And yes, I know I nitpicked at them and they're not really on point, but it's a pet peeve of mine. I'm sorry. But there's no one that has half a brain, half a rational thinking, logical thinking brain, I should say, that is going to be tricked by this. This is tripe. This is bullshit. As some of my friends over in the UK might say, this is bollocks. You know? And it's obvious. It's transparently obvious. So I guess if we're fighting for transparency, this is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty transparent that this is fake. But there's no way that we're losing in Gamergate, because there's nothing to show that we're slowing down significantly. I mean, things are going to ebb and flow, you know, until one of them slips up and makes another thing. We're just going to continue to do the thing we've always done. Sending the emails, you know, pointing out the illogical stuff, making boycotts, etc., etc. All the things we've been doing since September. And then when somebody makes a big fuck up, bam! We use that as a new springboard to get some more momentum and go faster. But our momentum has not flagged below the baseline that started in August and September. Yeah. So ultimately, we're not going anywhere. This is the long game. That's the one truthful thing said in this entire letter. This is the long game. But we're a culture built to win. Gamers are conditioned to win. We can outlast the longest raids. We can fight the hardest bosses. We can grind for the rarest goddamn loot. If they don't think we won't sit on this for years, they should go look at any goddamn World of Warcraft player who has been playing since it was released. Those people have been playing a game for over a goddamn decade. At least I think it's a decade. Hold on, that might be unfactual. Let me check. I'm pretty sure it's been over a decade. Let me see. Yes! Oh, for exactly a decade. Excuse me. Release date, November 23rd, 2004. No, I'm right. Over a decade. Maybe a couple weeks over a decade, but over a decade. They have been playing this game for 10 fucking years. If you think that we can't last another few fucking months until you all goddamn capitulate, you're fucking retarded. And ultimately, that's my view on the whole thing. This little letter from a former Gamergator. My name is Xanatrix Adare, and remember, you don't only seek the truth seeks you.